last thing, Dave, you started in comedy, and we're seeing comedy in a weird place right now, where in some ways they're the only people speaking the truth, but in some ways they feel like they can't say what they used to say. And we see shows that were made 5-7 years ago that couldn't be made now. Even 1 hour specials that couldn't be made now. I know that's where your roots were. What do you see in the comedy landscape, and will it ultimately be our savior somehow?
It's true, Brian. I used to be funny a long time ago. That's what I miss about the live thing. I mean, that's what I was doing with Jordan. I was warming up the crowd. I was having fun with everybody. And, on the off nights of the tour, I would sell out a comedy club and just get up there. And, I got 5 jokes, but I know how to get up there and just have fun with everybody and talk about the news and what's going on in the world and that kind of thing. Comedy has been decimated by wokeism. I mean, people that were funny, I suppose, Stephen Colbert and Jimmy Kimmel and Sarah Silverman, these people that were once funny have all become hysterical, woke, progressive activists. By the way, several of the people I just mentioned have also been in blackface. So usually it's that they're just covering up their own sins. That's what they're often doing. Jimmy Kimmel, who's in blackface, Karl Malone, for years he was doing this. And now he's the biggest social justice warrior on the planet and will run around telling you that you're racist and that America's racist. I mean, the guy's just a clown. I do sense that there's going to be this rebirth of it. And that would be connected to what we were talking about earlier about young people that are just like, screw all of you. Like, we are not going to live by these ridiculous rules. We're not going to be afraid of our shadow and what we say all the time and the rest of it. So I'm bullish on that. New young comics will come around. And that's the other piece. I just want to get back out there. We were thinking about maybe doing like a monthly live show in LA just to get in front of people. I want people to laugh together, to break bread together, to drink together again. It's been basically a year and a half since I went to a bar. Even here in LA, where we've opened up to some degree, you can't sit at a bar. I mean, it's just nonsense. But, I used to like going to a bar, sit down. Next thing you know, you're chatting with somebody. Next thing you know, you're chatting with 4 people. Pretty cool. We don't do any of that anymore. So we got to rebuild those human connections. And a lot of it does, of course, come through comedy.
Yeah, definitely. And the Rubin Report, I mean, man, there's no flies on you. I mean, you're producing content every single day, it seems. It's slick. It's well produced. You got great guests. I mean, it's really, it's blossomed and gone a little exponential. Obviously, that's intentional on your part. But how do you do all that? And where's it going in the future?
I like doing it. I mean, that really is the truth. We've shifted a little bit away from interviews. I'm doing 1 or 2 interviews a week, and I'm doing the daily direct to camera thing, which I love doing. I wake up, my producer and I, we go through some stories. Hey, what's interesting to talk about? I have basically no script. I have a couple, I know I have to have the 3 stories maybe that I'm talking about, 1 or 2 data points, but it's basically just me doing a brain dump, just here's what's on my mind. Let's do it. And I try to be a little sillier and not make everybody depressed and angry. So I'm loving that. We do the interview once or twice a week, as I said. I'd love to start doing some more live stuff. So hopefully doing some, in front of crowds, that kind of thing. And then we'll just kind of see where it continues to go. As locals continues to explode, we're on a nice trajectory with that. And that's obviously deeply connected to what's going on with the show. And if the show can continue to be a hub of, where sane people can come together and get the word out on a little decency, then I've done something all right.
And YouTube is still playing nice with you, relatively.
Nobody knows. We are all, it is by the grace of Susan Wojcicki that any of us exist.
It's so true. It's so true. And do you think that the interviews over the last 5 years allowed you to do the 2-camera stuff as well as you do it now? Do you think having that knowledge base, because I know it did for me, I don't think I could have done that.
It did. You know this as an interviewer. The best part of being an interviewer is that if you're interviewing the right people, you can get a little something from everybody. If you sit down with Jordan Peterson long enough, if you don't get something from him, really learn something, then there's something wrong with you. If you sit down with Peter Thiel and you don't get something from him, something's wrong with you. And then if you do that over years and years with a really varied collection of people, Thomas Sowell, I mean, some of the people I've been so honored to sit down with, each one of them, I was able to take something from them in the best sense of it. I was able to incorporate their worldview, their ideas. So it allowed me now to speak very clearly about the things that I care about. So I think it actually feels to me like a very natural progression of, I was an interviewer for, let's say, 5 years. That's mostly what I was known as, where now I'm known as something else. I'm known as, somebody that's talking for a living rather than listening, although I enjoy the listening part too. It refined all of it. And who knows where it'll be in 5 years.